Hi, I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and today we're going to talk about the 1911. The 1911 is the most American thing in the history of American things that are American. I pledge allegiance to the 1911 and to the republic for which it stands. Bald eagles fly over and scream every time we see one of these. We stopped the Nazis with this. We stopped the fascists and the communists and everything. We all bow down to the altar of John Moses Browning, the great patriot he was, because it's American. God bless America, my home, sweet home. The 1911 is amazing and awesome, and Glocks suck because they're plastic pieces of trash. Let me get rid of this real quick. And so now, hyperbole aside, let me go ahead and show you a little bit about this before we get into disassembly. The 1911 was the U.S. military standard. What are you doing? The 1911 was the U.S. military standard service pistol all the way from 1911 when it was adopted up to the late 70s, early 80s, where it was eventually replaced by the M9. There was only one major change ever made to it, which was the change from the 1911 to the 1911 A1 model. And while we generally tend to call all of them 1911s, most of them you see nowadays are A1s. The 1911 is probably the most customized pistol in the United States, besides maybe just all the different Glocks. But I talked about Glock again. You see all kinds of crazy things done to it, different triggers and grips, things done to the slide. You see it in lots of different calibers. What I have here is a mil-spec model, basically a reproduction mil-spec, not an actual military issue pistol, but one that is built exactly to the old military specifications, and that's what I will show you here. If the one that you have has some other changes and other parts done to it, it may be a bit different. So let me show you some of the changes from the 1911 to the 1911 A1. You've got this right here that is added to basically change the grip angle, push it up a little bit. You've got the extended beaver tail so that this doesn't bite you in the webbing of your thumb. And you've got this cut right here to make it easier to get into the trigger guard. There aren't a whole lot of controls on the 1911 to go over. You've got your magazine release right here. You've got the slide release and slide lock located right there. Basically, bring the slide back, push up to lock it into place. That's like how all of your modern handguns are. To bring the slide forward, you push down on the slide release and it goes forward. The safety is located right here. When it's down, the slide is allowed to move. When this is pushed up, it's held in place and it can't move. We've also got a grip safety right there. It has to be pushed forward for the gun to be able to fire. You've got an external hammer right here, which will go forward when you pull the trigger and fire. You can also decock it. Usually I do this when it's empty, by pulling back the trigger and riding the hammer all the way forward. You'll see that whenever the slide goes back, that will automatically lock it back in place for you. Okay, well that was all pretty easy to go over. Let me show you disassembly. Now there's a number of different ways to disassemble this and to reassemble it. The way I'm showing you is just the way that I do it. My way is not the only way, and I'm not going to say it's the best. It's just the way that I found to do it and what works for me. We're going to start right here at the muzzle end of this. What we'll do is we'll push this down and then spin the bushing clockwise until it stops. That will allow this to come out. This is under spring pressure. It will come flying out if you aren't keeping your finger on it good. So push down, spin this till it stops, bring that up, and out they both go. Then this piece can spin all the way counterclockwise and slide out like that. What we'll start with next will be removing the slide lock and release. We'll do that by pushing here after we have lined this piece up with that right there. You want to make sure that you line it up with this smaller groove here and not the larger one there. Once it's lined up, you can just push on this. That will push it out a bit. Then you can grab it and pull it out. Once you have that piece out, the receiver will slide off of the slide. You can then take this piece off. Make sure you have this little black flap here pushed forward, and this will go right out there. Now that we're ready to reassemble it, this little piece right here on the barrel is going to be the most bothersome part of getting this entire thing back together. We're then going to take this part right here, make sure that's pushed forward, slide it in to the slide like that. Take this part, make sure that this cut right here is on the bottom, so it goes right over the barrel. Push it right up into there. We then take our slide, put it in the back here, and it goes back on. When we get to reassembly, we want to make sure that that small groove lines up with the hole right there, which the back of the disassembly lever will go into. Once you get this hole lined up with that slot right there, you'll then need to hold the slide in place, take your barrel and move it until that black little flappy bit on the bottom of the barrel lines up with the hole. Then you can push this right through there. It takes a little bit to get it lined up into there, but it will eventually slide in. Once you get this slid back into place, you just got to get this end to go into there. You'll notice a little spring-loaded bar right there that you'll have to push. You have to go a little bit below the hole, push down and up, and then it pops into place. If you're new to these, like the first time that I took mine apart, you might leave a little newbie scratch right there. That's how they can tell you're a moron like me. At this point, you're just going to put these three pieces back into there. Start off with this, hang it off to the left side of the gun until it goes in. Slide it over all the way over. Put your spring in there. You got to put this guy in there. Push down until that groove snaps back into place on this. Keep a firm grip on it so you don't send this flying across your house. And it's in place. Now you can check the function. And it's good. And that's all you need to know about the 1911. If you like this video, be sure to like or comment. You can also subscribe so you can see all the videos that I make and not miss any of them. I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and we'll see you next time.